So here we are again, guys, the Northern Virtual Food and Drink Festival. We're going to be flying into another kitchen in the north in a few seconds or so. These demonstrations are flying in and flying out today. It seems to be going so quickly. I hope you're all enjoying watching out there in Facebook Land and on YouTube. So let's have another little word from our main charity for this event, Hospitality Action.
Ollie Hoyle, Catering Manager.
Peter Molar, Doorman.
Ricardo Oliva, Concierge.
Ulrich Edwards, Concierge Assistant.
We've got you.
Linda Anderson, cafe owner.
Ioana Georgiou, Junior sous chef.
Nuno Pinto, Bartender.
Mark Black, Head Porter.
Andrea Demir, Receptionist.
We've got you.
Aaron Dixon, Apprentice Chef.
Federica Pinna, Pastry Chef.
Sabino Mazzone, Pastry Chef.
Himari Bochke, Barista Supervisor.
We've got you. Shwam Maharjan, Sushi Head Chef.
Mitchell Collier, Duty Manager.
Anna Grabczewska, Public Area Cleaner.
Whatever you do in hospitality, isn't it good to know that someone's got your back in case anything goes wrong?
So let's bring to the stage one of the other chefs that we've got here today in the Northern Virtual Food and Drink Festival, Chef James Irwin. Good afternoon, James.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Chef James Chef James Sherwin?
It's been a long day, hasn't it?
Just a bit.
Well, yeah, I'm head chef of Wild Shropshire Restaurant. Well, head chef, owner, Saturday night toilet cleaner, you could say, of Wild Shropshire Restaurant down in Whitchurch, which is kind of about as north in Shropshire you can go without being in Wales or Cheshire. You know, we're right up there in sort of right in the corner. We do a tasting menu. We do a tasting menu where you have we don't tell you what you're going to eat, which is, well, I think it's quite good fun. So you'll come along and I don't know, you'll get sort of 12 courses or something. Then we'll give you the menu at the end and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's it. We're all based on what we're growing in the allotment. Sort of, well, we've got our allotment, which is about 20 meters sort of out of my kitchen now, which you can't see, but I can point at it. And what we can forage as well. So, you know, sort of that whole sort of foraging thing that's really cool at the moment. We're sort of, that's a big part of what we do. And so, yeah, that's it. We're going to do a couple of dishes, all based.
So do you not think just going back to the tasting menu thing? Just going back to the tasting menu. Do you not think that's really good? The fact that you don't advertise the menu because
go on then.
Oh, are you back? Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. Do you not think it's really good in the way of the tasting menu that you don't advertise the tasting menu, so people can't say, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that, and then they are more willing to try it and then actually realise that it's not what it is, it's how it's prepared and the way you put the love and the care and the tenderness into it that makes the dish what it is.
Completely that. So, I mean, you do have some sort of say that if you're allergic or vegan or vegetarian, you know, you can tell me that beforehand, like days beforehand, and you know, we can do all that, and that's cool. But this, I think I'm going to sound really pretentious, and I don't mean to, but I can't help myself. I think sort of eating out's a bit disposable in that we do it so much nowadays, and it kind of becomes something that we just do, and it's a bit boring. It's like watching the TV or something. And the idea behind having no menu is that it's exciting, and it's an adventure, and it's experience. And as you say, I always tell this same story, but there was a customer, I can picture her now, I know exactly what she looks like, where she was sitting. And I was talking to the customers before we served any food, just to explain what the concept was. And I remember her saying, the only thing I won't eat is sweetbreads. I was like, all right, cool. Knowing full well the very first thing she was going to put in her mouth was sweetbreads. And you know what? She absolutely loved the dish. And because she didn't know what it was, you know, she had a great time. But if I'd have said to her, oh, by the way, it's the first thing you're eating, it'd have come back to the kitchen. It wouldn't have got anywhere near her mouth. And so, yeah, I think it works. Well, it works for me anyway. It's not for everyone, and it's definitely a little wee niche market, but yeah, it works for me.
I think more often than not, people that don't like food have had it done badly.
Yeah, definitely. You know, certainly with sweetbreads with me, I'd had them years and years and years ago. They were awful, but it's because I cooked them badly. So when my one of the butchers I used convinced me to have some more. I sort of worked out how to cook them properly. They were brilliant. You know, they were really, really nice. And you're right. It's about, you know, how often has someone tried something their mother cooked them 30, 40 years ago and never touched it again since?
Absolutely. Or had it for school dinners or something like that. And it was just absolutely terrible.
Completely. So that's what we're going for. You know, I think it brings the right customers as well. It brings those that are willing to be a little bit more adventurous, willing to let me sort of get on with it and do it. So it's fun. It's a nice experience. I think it's a nice experience. I can see those messages. Thank you, Eddie Kilty. But no, it's a nice experience. It's not for everyone, but it works for us, and that's kind of what you want. You know, if you're going to open your own restaurant, you've got to do what you want, because so much of it is so hard and almost so depressing and miserable sometimes. But when you're actually cooking, it's got to be, you know, what you want to be doing, even if it's for 12 people or 14 people. You know what I mean? You're never going to make any money, but it's fun. You know, it's what we want to do.
Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand the stage to you. I'm going to slip off behind the scenes like I usually do, and let's see what you're going to do for us today.
Okay, so we're going to do 2 dishes today. So as I said a little while earlier, you sort of have around 12 courses, sometimes a bit bigger, sometimes a bit smaller, fewer or more or fewer. These 2 courses will generally follow each other. So this would be I'm going to do a duck dish, which would be the last of the savoury, into what would be a pre-dessert. We'll do the pre-dessert as well. And what I want is for them to, instead of having that really rich main and then a citrusy pre-dessert, I almost want them to flow into each other, almost like a bridge. So you bridge from the savoury to the sweet, and I know I sound pretentious, but I'm getting on with it. And so we're going to do a pan roasted duck breast with, what are we doing it with? Some fresh radishes, so picked out the garden about 20 minutes ago. Not going to cook them, we're just going to dress them in some blackcurrant leaf oil and serve them. We've got something now, let me see if I can show that to the camera without dropping it all over the floor. No. So that's like a, it's like a Japanese tear, I think is the way they call it, or a tar, I don't know. So a Japanese tar is soy, mirin, sake, all these lovely things. Some sugar in it, kind of reduced down, so it's like this sticky, almost barbecue sauce or something. I made a British version, which I'll talk to you about in a wee bit. With some pickled wild garlic as a ketchup, and then we're going to do, this is one of my star ingredients. So a couple of summers ago, I will start cooking in a second. Brutally hot, and a lot of the sort of soft fruits didn't come out, and we found these. And I can see these. These are blackcurrant leaves. Now, if you can smell these, they smell of basil and mint and licorice. They're brilliant. So we're going to make a sorbet out of these, and also use it in the main dish as well. And then, so you got that sort of sorbet of licorice and basil in it. It's brilliant. And we can do that with a little bit of caviar, which I know sounds disgusting, but we're talking sweet and salty and all that kind of stuff, and some whipped cream. So I'm going to start cooking my duck now. This is a precursor. I've not cooked. We've been closed now since December because we've been waiting for the, we're waiting for planning and getting the restaurant open. We're going to open April the 4th, and then sort of COVID-19, all this kind of stuff kicked off. So I've not cooked, and this includes cooking the kids' tea if I can help it as well. I've not cooked in about 6 months, so if it all goes to pot, yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing. I've already, I made the sorbet yesterday. I sort of pre-made it. We're going to go through the process today, but I kind of ruined that as well. So we'll see how that turns out in a few minutes. Right, so I have got a cold pan. I've got my duck going in, skin side down, and I'm just going to let that cook through, hopefully. I'm going to use plenty of butter in there as well, because I think it's a good thing. The duck, it's a dry-aged one. It's actually from one of my suppliers in Whitchurch, Alternative Meats. And I found it in the freezer, basically. I've got loads of stuff sort of hanging around that I've not used. And they do these brilliant sort of dry-aged dressed ducks. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So I've brined it. So just 2% brine. So for 100 grams of water, we use 2 grams of salt. We can sort of do that up. 2 hours in there, wash it off, dry it, and then we're going to start cooking. And what that will do is give it a really nice seasoning, and then we'll give it a little bit more salt at the end. Oh, what else should we do? We're going to make some sorbet. Right, so in this pan here, I've got simple syrup. So 50% sugar, 50% water. So 100 grams of water, 100 grams of sugar, 200 grams, 200 grams. Now we go. Good. Into my blender. And in here with it, I'm going to put these things, blackcurrant leaves. So let's pick these. Now, I know it's an old cliche, but all that smell-o-vision kind of rubbish, but my daughter is sitting there and she will tell you how brilliant they smell. Am I right?
They smell like blackcurrants.
They smell like blackcurrants.
Typical children.
On the internet. Sorry. It's beautiful and I love her. Right, so we're just going to get these in here and we're going to blitz them up and just blitz them raw. If you start cooking them, they kind of lose a lot of their, I think vitality is the word I'm going to use. I don't know if that's the right word, but they just lose that sort of freshness and that almost mowed grass feel. You know what I mean? It's trying to sound a little bit more appetising than mowed grass. Let's get those in there. What we'll do, and I'm just going to blitz those up. So this is going to be noise for 30 seconds. Okay, so that's literally my blackcurrant leaf puree. That will go through a sieve, not puree, sorbet. You can through a sieve and then into your ice cream machine or however you want to make it. You could, if you wanted to, do this granita. So stick it into like a plastic tub, then every half an hour sort of fork it. Scrape it with a fork to get a nice fluffy texture. However, as mentioned earlier, there's a bit of blue pizza here, one I made earlier today, and that's one of the things on there. Right, let's turn that down. So my duck's starting to brown nice. Now I've got lots of fat coming out of there, but I like buttering things, so I'm just going to put a little bit of butter in there as well, just to give it more flavour, to be honest. I mean, well, you know, without sounding like James Martin, butter's flavour, isn't it? So, let me talk to you about tear. You can't see in this pan because I'm an idiot, but I see that sort. Actually, Pops, can you? What? We'll start moving the iPad now. This could go wrong. Right. Okay. So if you can see in there, there we go. That was the most low budget thing I think we've ever done. So that was a reduction of soy. Okay. So we make our own soys here. That one was made from some mushrooms that one of my customers gave me. Some mushrooms. They use mirin sake in Japan. I'm not plugging, but I've got. So I've been working with a company called the Shropshire Distillery, and we want to do some forage gins. Basically, kind of get away from that really overly sweet gin that's kind of cool at the moment. And this is pineapple weed, and it's amazing. And this is the last sort of 100 mils we got. We sold out really quickly, which is really nice because it is. That's delicious stuff. We're going to do some more, but I keep forgetting to sort it out basically. It's useless. Let's do that a little bit more. So we've got soy in there that we made. We've got some sake. We've got birch syrup. So every year we tap the birch trees down at the farm. So my in-laws' farm is about 200 metres that way. We tap the birch trees, reduce the birch sap down, and we've got this sort of syrup, and it's amazing. There we go. And what else was in there? Oh, some nasturtium seeds. They were literally there just to sort of infuse in. Probably something else as well that I can't remember, but it will come to me. Pickled wild garlic. There's some pickled wild garlic in there as well. So it's really sort of sticky and sweet, and you know, it's lovely stuff. So I'll use that on the duck in a little bit. Right. So next thing, pickled wild garlic. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Matt Davis. In here, I've got some pickled wild garlic. I've got lots of bags of this around and about. So this is just standard pickle. A little bit more sugar, maybe an extra 10% sugar than you usually use. And I've got wild garlic in there, and it just sits and sits and sits, and it's brilliant. I'm just going to take some of this out. Getting a bit steamy in here. And we're going to make a gel out of that. Now, usually at the restaurant, we use agar-agar, which is it's a seaweed. You have to heat it and set it and all that kind of stuff, and then blitz it. And we haven't got that much time, so I'm going to do something called ultra test. So squeeze it in there. My daughter's trying to get my attention on the laptop over there, so I don't know why. Right, so let's just take the wild garlic out. We're actually going to use the wild garlic itself, just the liquor that sort of, it's imparting all this flavour to. So I have a whisk. Some ultra test. It's one of those chefy chemicals that we're all a bit scared of, but it does its job. A bit more butter. Right, so.
I find that you have to be very careful with Ultratex, James, because if you add just slightly too much, it turns into wallpaper paste, doesn't it?
I used to work with this one chef, and I'm going to say his name because that's not very kind. But that point, did not have to use Ultratex. And he'd do these ketchups that were just, they were like concrete, they were bloody horrible, just awful things. And no matter how many times you said, be careful, little by little, just carried on with it and had a great fun. Yeah, made a right mess of it. But, it's, I don't know. I think it's having patience with it, isn't it? You have to be careful. It's not something I used, to be honest, because I don't think the gels are as good as, agar or something like that. But it has to serve a purpose, so we'll do it. So we've got our duck cooking. This is horrible. Like I say, I've not cooked in months. I don't know what I'm doing. I really haven't. The other thing I've got, well, that's just in here, which you can't see. Poppy, do your job, please. Come on, show them the green oil.
Yep. Oh, God.
Okay, so in there, I've got a green oil. That's enough. That's enough. That is blackcurrant leaf oil. So I've taken the blackcurrant leaves, and I've mixed them with sort of equal parts oil, just to make a nice oil out of them. Pass it through a sieve with a J cloth, and you get this brilliant sort of. Well, you get all that aroma again, like I was talking about earlier. And what I'm going to do with that is that'll be on both dishes. So it'll kind of, again, it'll help bridge the savouries to the sweet and all that kind of stuff. So I can sit like that. So I want it to be. I'm not going to say what I said. I want it to journey through. I want it to bridge through, and not just be these sort of. You have your Sunday lunch, and you have your big Sunday lunch. Then you have your apple crumble, and it's just they hit each other like that. And while most people are probably saying, "Yeah, that sounds alright," I want the meal to just go through nicely and flow, and that's kind of my way of achieving it, hopefully. Okay, so my duck is probably cooked. Who knows? Feels cooked, but it's been a long time. I've got my ketchup made now. So this is just going to sit here and rest for a while. There we go, that's doing its thing. So just spoon some of this stuff on. In fact, what we're going to do, we're going to let that sit in there a wee bit. So in there I've got my tear. I'm going to let my duck breast sit in there and sort of rest and soak up all those just brilliant flavours. Okay, so where are we at, Pops? What are we doing? So we've got ketchup, we've got the wild garlic ketchup, we've got the cooked duck, we've got blackcurrant leaf oil. So as I said, that was just equal parts oil and blackcurrant leaf, blitzed and passed. Got my radishes, a couple of beautiful radishes. I'm literally just going to dress those with a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, and then that'll be our main. And we'll put that together. So let's let that duck rest for a while, and yeah, we'll get going with that. Then we tidy up. Okay, so the fridge. Somewhere in the fridge. Okay, whipped cream, double cream. It's literally just double cream, but there's nothing exciting about watching me whip cream. So we've done that, and then caviar. Now this isn't the amazing Exmoor caviar. Just couldn't get any of that. This sort of with what's going on. So it's just some cheaper caviar, but it's all right. It's the idea is that it will be fatty, it will be fragrant, it will be fresh, and it will be salty as well. and then we get into the desserts and yeah, be a good time. Right, so spoon this in here. So, any questions while I'm trying to keep an eye on this little ticker, but yeah, it's trying to cook at the same time, not that great.
Yeah, we've not got much coming through. I think everyone's just captivated by what you're doing, and you're describing it all so well that we don't really need any questions, I don't think.
You know, there is another option. There's about 4 people watching, and they are like, oh, God, I'm bored of this already. Right, so, that's a shame. You know what, it's really weird, actually, because I do a lot of demos, although all this year has been cancelled, and I'm always on around lunchtime. So usually, sort of my feedback loop is sat looking at pensioners who are eating their sandwiches who really don't care about what I'm saying. And today I'm looking at myself doing it, and it's very bizarre. I don't know which is worse, to be honest. Right, so let's just let that duck's just ticking over in there, just quite nicely. What about ketchup? Should we do this dessert first? Okay, so turn my board over. Right, so spoon, whipped cream, caviar, good to go. Okay, so I know there's a couple of chefs watching this, so don't judge my rochet, okay? Yes, there'll be some left to try. So, I've been told I need to mention the book. I'm doing a book. It's coming out soon, next month. I'm supposed to be doing dishes from said book. However, the idea behind the book was that I kind of treat it the way you would like a band. So, you know, sort of bands don't wait 20 years to release their first album, do they? They kind of, you know, they'll do a bit, get out of shots, you horrible child. And then release an album. I kind of want to do that about books because, you know, our customers who've been with us a while have seen a massive growth in what we do. And I kind of wanted to show that with how we work. And so I had a bit of an opportune meeting with a girl called Natalie Moore, lady. She's a photographer, she wanted to get into food photography. I did an episode of Country File, she saw it, got in touch. One thing leads to another, we've got a book coming out. And the idea being is that it would, in 20 years' time, when I'm very near retirement age, we'll be able to look back and actually see everything that we did. The way Daniel Cliff has done Midsummer House book. You know, you can look at the first few chapters that it looks really old-fashioned and dated. I mean, still cool as hell, you know. But, you know, and that was kind of the idea about it. So, well, I guess it's very early in my career. It's coming out soon, and it's just a nice little overview of our first couple of years as a restaurant. And so we just moved as a restaurant. You know, we closed in December because we wanted a new premises where we could do more, sort of have more options, be more of a kitchen, you know, be an open kitchen, that kind of stuff. And so yeah, it kind of, excuse the pun, but it bookmarks that 2 years we spent. Don't laugh at me. In the last place we were at, and so in a couple of years we'll do another one. But yeah, we've got a little book coming out soon. Right, I'm going to the freezer now. This sorbet, as I said, I haven't cooked for a long time, and I put it through the ice cream machine earlier, and I'd obviously put too much sugar in by accident. So let's not judge me on it, okay? I know it's not great. I can see that. I know I'm going to pack a jet behind me, but yes, it's too much sugar basically. I've nailed it a little bit. We'll see how it turns out. So bear with. I think carry on. Sorry.
Give us a little bit of an insight about your history and stuff like that, because I've just been asked to ask you, and that you managed to work for Anthony Bourdain and Nigel Lawson.
No, I didn't work for them. I was I did a TV show, The Taste, which I found out 4 people that watched it basically. Literally, but it was kind of like Channel 4's Western version of MasterChef. It was kind of around the time where what's the name? Nigella was in the papers a lot because of, you know, one thing or another. And let's actually, could you just do that one? Shut up, I'm talking. Ignore the sorbet. Yeah, so I did this TV show, and the idea was I worked. Nigella Lawson was one of the judges. Anthony Bourdain, who is well, the coolest man alive, wasn't he? Not anymore, he's not, but super cool. Yeah, so we've got whipped cream, we've got blackcurrant leaf oil, we've got blackcurrant leaf sorbet, which tastes amazing. Try it, and we've got some caviar. There you go, pop it back. We'll start doing the duck. Yeah, so we did this little TV show, and it led to sort of our first job and all that kind of stuff. And it was just, yeah, it was fun. You know, it was like a 2-week holiday doing. It was a little 2-week holiday, you know, sort of planning studios. Yeah, just messing around and cooking and being really awful. But the week after I got kicked out, well, you know, throwing out was rubbish. Simon Rogan was the guest judge, and Simon Rogan is just, I mean, that boy is a legend, isn't he? Of everyone who was ever a judge on that show, and, you know, Bourdain and Nigella and Ludo Lefebvre, who was there as well, who's really, really cool. I'd love to have met Simon Rogan and cook Simon Rogan. I mean, I embarrassed myself because I was awful, but, you know, it would have been lovely to cook for him because he's a legend, isn't he?
Simon Rogan's a very, very misunderstood guy. He comes across as very arrogant and very quiet, but he's actually very shy.
Yeah, I think, definitely. I don't know. His cooking's brilliant. It's definitely what I've always wanted. You know, there's a few chefs that sort of, when you go through your early start of your career and you're trying to rip off and you basically do what they're doing. Simon Rogan was one of those, along with Magnus Nielsen Fabricant and Christian Polisi from Relay, and, you know, sort of their books, and I know Rogan's not going to come out, but their books and their cooking was kind of, right, that's what I want to do, that's how we're going to, and, you know, you find your own sort of, it's like a hippie, but your own voice and whatnot, but, you know, definitely, he was one of those guys that was like, right, I want to be that, I want to be that guy, but you know what I'm getting at, he's fantastic, isn't he? Right, let's see how I cook this duck breast. And, so
can you just have that bowl of sorbet moving so we can just see the duck breast on your board?
Say what, sorry?
Can we just move the bowl that's in front of the board? That's the one, so we can see the board. Fantastic.
How's that?
Yeah, excellent.
Perfect. Right, I need to wash my hands. So yeah, I worked with Bourdain and Lawson. It was quite cool. It was, you know, it was a nice experience. It's one of those things that will sort of stay with me for a long, you know, it'll stay with me forever. It's something cool that I've done that everyone gets to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not one of these sort of, I have no aspirations to be a TV chef or any of that kind of stuff. But it was quite nice for a bit. You know what I mean? How was, I mean, you did GDM. How was that?
Oh God, that was just an amazing roller coaster of emotions. It was kind of from being up to down to left to right, and you just don't know whether you're coming or going sometimes.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, GBM's producers, if you're there, you know, hook me up. Let's do it. It's serious as well, isn't it? It's serious cooking for serious chefs and with people who, what am I trying to say without being horrible to the hairy bikers?
It's a chef's program for chefs.
Yeah, pretty much. And, you know, it's just, you know, you can go on there, you can cook something brilliant, and it's not going to get ripped apart for the wrong reasons. It might get ripped apart because the seasons are rubbish, or, you know, you've done one of the elements badly, but not because it's a bit pretentious or a bit that. And so I'd love to do a little bit of
Or you get ripped to pieces for your starter because the chef that was tasting it didn't like it from the start and he didn't understand your dish.
Say again, sorry?
I said, or you get ripped to pieces by the veteran judge because he didn't understand your starter and he didn't like you.
You know what? That's the bit that really worries me. You know, they sort of say to you, "Who do you not want?" And it's like, well, I don't think I want any of them. Do you know what I mean? But no, it's right. So my radishes, a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of blackcurrant leaf oil. I'm putting enough carbon into this duck as long as possible because I'm worried it's going to be undercooked slightly, but we're going to go for it. All right. I cooked it better before. That's just really weird, actually. That's because it's been such a long time since I've cooked. It just feels really alien at the moment. what am I doing? And it's one of the things that worries me about the new place, the new open kitchen, and there's no hiding, is there? You know, they're going to see me screw up and drop things and let things boil over a wee bit, and it's it takes some getting used to.
But is that not good though? Because that then will show them that there's actually a real person behind the dish that's putting the food on the plate, that's cooking it, and so on and so forth. So many places that you go to and it's a closed door and you don't get to see in the kitchen, and a plate just appears from a waiter behind the door. And it could be a robot that sticks that on there, as far as they know.
You know, I'd before we had the restaurant, we did some pop-ups, and my other half, she bullied me. She used to make me go and sort of talk to people between dishes and say, right, this is what at that point we were telling people what they were, and I hated it. You know, I didn't enjoy it the slightest. But she kept saying, no, you've got to keep doing it. People love it, and you know, one of the things that always came up with sort of TripAdvisor reviews and whatnot was that people love the fact that I'd go out and speak to them, and I don't know, I think it humanises you a little bit, doesn't it? It makes you, do you know what I'm getting? Do you know what I mean?
When someone comes to your restaurant, you are the rock star, you are the celebrity at the end of the day, and people do enjoy meeting the person that puts that food together. And I in the similar principle with me, I mean, when people have, and I'm no way, and my ego, I haven't got an ego whatsoever, I'm just who I am. And people meet me and go, oh my God, you were on the telly, you this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah, I'm just me.
You know, we had, when we did Country File, sorry, I know I should be playing to what I'm talking. When we did Country File, the producer said, like, make sure your website is ready and whatnot. It's going to go nuts, you know, people sell out and all this kind of stuff. So we were sat watching it, and, you know, you cringe at yourself a little bit and whatnot. But then watching the analytics on the website, waiting for the bookings to pour in, and there were nothing at all. And I was like, oh my God, what have I just done on national telly in front of 6 million people? But, you know, up until the final night that we did, December 28th or whatever, you know, the customers sitting there said, oh, we saw you on the TV 2 years ago, and we've only just got around to coming in. And you're right, I think people, maybe not as a rock star, because I don't want to be that guy-ish. But yeah, you know, I think people like me to be the person behind, you know, the human behind the food almost, because it makes it something that's real and not just, it's not just like a transaction, you know, it's not something they pay for something, you supply it and then they go home, and it's a real thing. It's almost like when you go to a comedian, they take the piss out of you, isn't it, or something? I don't know.
We've got a nice comment here from Emma Shawcross. She misses the kitchen. It's always fab to see chefs cooking and talking and putting their hearts into the food, and the love for the food that they do also.
Yeah, you know, I know Emma. She's lovely, and it's I did a couple of the Manchester Kitchen socials with her, who Magella, who you had on earlier, runs, and it's nice to, you know, again, I'm talking too much, but I work on my own in the kitchen. You know, other than when my waiting staff turn up, there's just me, and it's a really weird kind of thing because it's, you know, the first kitchen I worked in, there were 5 or 6 of us, and there was a camaraderie, and there was a big Scottish guy who used to rip me to pieces just for fun all the time, but in a nice way. Do you know what I mean? There's that camaraderie, and I kind of missed that being on my own. So it was nice to come and do something like Manchester Kitchen Social and actually meet other chefs and talk to them, be cooking with people beside you, and you know, kind of get that sort of feedback from them. It's yeah, you know. Anyway, Richard, right, we're gonna put this plate together. So I've got a piece of duck. I'm not one for really. No, I'm not massive on fancy presentation. I kind of like. I think the Gareth Ward way is the way people kind of call it now. I like the idea of almost everything being on top of each other. So when you have something, you have to have it as it's intended. You know what I mean? You know, you've got your piece of duck. You're going to get the wild garlic ketchup. You can't. You know, you're going to have a bit over here and a bit over there and a couple of little flowers and that kind of stuff. It's just, you know, you're kind of getting everything, and I think that's the most delicious way of doing things. So we've got a piece of duck, completely covered it in the pickled wild garlic. White radishes, we're going to stick those on top. No, it's all right at the moment. And then a bit of salt. Wash my hands. Okay, so in the sorbet, you try that if you want. Obviously we've got those blackcurrant and licorice flavours, that kind of stuff, and some mint and some basil and stuff. got some fennel tops, which kind of picks up on the same theme a little bit. So a little bit of fennel tops, just to make it look all pretty, because, you know, do a little bit, I guess.
Tastes like leaves.
Apparently it tastes like leaves, honestly.
Tastes good though.
There we go, a wee bit of that. And then, excuse me, just to finish it off, as we spoke about, just to sort of tie it all together, we've got the black leaf oil, dress the whole thing in that. And so you've got flavours crossing over. And that's it. Do you want to show it on the video?
Yes.
Especially dropped my iPad and it all goes wrong. There you go. So, I don't know if you can see that okay.
That looks lovely. If you can just move it to the, that's better. Lovely job. Nice picture. That looks lovely, that. And I can see what you mean by the presentation, how you're getting it all on top of each other. So when you cut down through that duck, you get some of all of the stuff that you've put on there as well.
Well, you know what? I went to a restaurant there a wee while ago, and they had this brilliant dessert, and it was lots of different types of chocolate. So it was mousse and ice cream and stuff, and it had this burnt orange puree, and it was lovely. But the burnt orange puree was all the way around the edge. So if you got your spoon and dragged it from one side to the other, it tasted amazing. If you just got the chocolate, it was too rich. Almost, you know, they balanced each other out, but you had to make that effort to get across. So, yeah, I want every mouthful to almost be the same, you know what I mean? Every mouthful to hit you sort of salty, sweet, sour, all those things. And that's across, you know, sort of desserts and savoury and whatnot. So there we go. Until I haven't cooked for a while, so I made a load of mess. That's it. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much. That was an amazing demonstration, James. And it's good to see at the end of the day there is a human person behind the food, and the stories that you told as well are really, really good. So on behalf of everyone behind the scenes at the Northern Virtual Food and Drink Festival and in Hospitality Action as well, I'd like to thank you again just for giving your time today for us. And hopefully people out there will appreciate that and give a little bit of money to Hospitality Action. And we'll just finish up with another video from them, guys. Thank you very much, James, and hopefully we'll see you very soon. And good luck. Go.
Right, the guy after me, Nathan Wall, who's on next, he's brilliant and he's really handsome. Watch it.
Fantastic. That's good endorsement. We'll see you again very soon. Good luck with all the future ventures.
Cheers. Take care.
Hospitality Action is a force for good. We offer lifelines to people who work or have worked in hospitality and find themselves in difficulty or crisis. We help people set their lives back on track. But not all of our stories have happy endings. For April, a secondary cancer diagnosis meant the best we could do for her was to take any financial worries off her mind.
I was diagnosed summer of 2018 with sarcoma cancer and attended Christie Hospital here in Manchester, and from there I've been on a journey with various chemo treatments and an operation. Oh, I've known about Hospitality Action for over 10 years. They've been very, very good to me. They have given me little Christmas presents. I came back on my holiday and I had a birthday present from them and a birthday card, which really surprised me. It was a nice little touch. I've been given a warming grant for heating, and I've been given different amounts of money paid at different times throughout the year. With VHA's help, I've been able to recently take a little trip down to London a couple of weeks ago, and with that I was able to sort of meet up with my friends, go out. We went to the West End, we went and seen the Tina Turner musical, and we had fun. You know, it doesn't take that much sort of to be with your friends and sort of having that sort of tranquility and fun. It's less pressure it's knowing that next month there'll be a sum coming in then too, and that will pay off all the utility bills. So it's a safety net that's there, and I'm very, very grateful that it's there, that I'm able to use it.
Whatever life throws at you, isn't it great to know somebody's got your back when the going gets tough? Help us to help people like April, people like you. Hospitality Action. We've got you.
I didn't know that I would become what I now represent. Hope for many thousands of HIV cancer patients. Hi, I'm Adam, the London patient. What drew me to hospitality was my passion for food. I started very humbling as a kitchen porter. I like to cook. I want people to enjoy my food. I think I found a lot of pleasure in that. My HIV started in 2003. At the time, it was very feared when I get the news to get HIV. Then by 2011, 2012, when I was diagnosed with cancer, but this time fearing my mortality and without knowing what's going to happen. Because I think when you have cancer, the panic set in. You felt really overwhelmed by the whole, wow, I'm going to die. And for me, it was like the second time around feeling that. I thought I would be prepared for it, but you never prepare for it. By 2015, the final told me, unfortunately, now you become terminally ill. How do you hear about Hospitality Action? I think I heard through Macmillan Cancer Center. Because I was chef, they told me, oh, you know, it's a charity, who can help you? How Hospitality Action helped me? I think it helped me in two ways. They helped me financially and later emotionally as well. Financially, during all the treatments and facing homelessness. That was very hard. They maintained my level of safety net. I'm still very grateful for it. They did help me in a really incredible way I couldn't ever even imagine when I received in the post an invitation to go to a Cirque du Soleil. They gave me a big smile because I felt part of a family. I was going to see my doctor and he called me. I was on a double-decker bus and he said to me, I got very good news to you. We find a match to do the transplant, to able to cure, and we're hoping to cure your cancer, but it's something else we want to tell you. We think and we hope we can cure as well your HIV. And then a big smile came to me, wow, I'm actually going to be cured of HIV in my lifetime. I don't think I can believe it. I have a stem cell transplant. Something happened when I had my transplant. I was given a card saying, your life start again, day 0. It's very strange going back to Adam, but now at this time it's different. I go with a sense of purpose, more into helping people and giving hope. And now I treasure my life and I want to live my life to the fullest. How we can describe Hospitality Action to people in the industry? And I will describe it as a compassion charity who cares passionately about the members of the hospitality industry and the care. And I can tell you from my own experience how mentally they helped me on that situation, to give me a smile in my face and to able at the same time helping me to keep a roof over my head.
We helped Adam in his time of need when he was just Adam and not the London patient. No matter who you are or what brings you to us in the first place, we're here to help you, and we'll show you the same compassion, care and support as we did to Adam. Hospitality Action, we've got you.